What it do, Savage Family? Today we back with another video, man. We back with another video. Today we gonna be reacting on a satanic boyfriend killing his girlfriend and entire family, man. Ain't sparing nobody. Killed all of them. We about to get into this video. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos, man. Let's get into this video.
It's in my final minutes of being alive, and to anybody that finds this, I want you to tell my parents I love them deeply. I'm very sorry for doing this. To my brother, Sinister, aka Eric, and Emily, I love you guys deeply. I'm sorry for going this route. I know I said I'd do myself in.
The truth isn't always what it seems at first glance. The man in the self-recorded footage wasn't someone burdened with guilt for his actions. Behind those misleading words of regret hid a far darker truth. In the complete recording clip that follows, watch how his fake pretense fades, revealing his true emotions.
Alright, so I'm making this video because, or if anybody finds this, I really don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm breathtaking at what I've done, and I apologize. I know I'm gonna pay for my consequences. I wish that I could have not done this, but I just lost my mind. I snapped, and I did what I did, and I gotta pay for it now. My consequences. I'm like all shaky and stuff, but like, to anybody that finds this, tell my parents that like I love them, and I'm very sorry for doing this. And there's nothing really else to say. To everybody that is probably gonna hate me for this, I'm sorry, and I had to do it. My mind just snapped. I couldn't control it anymore. That's it. It's the big world. Everybody in the world. I can't stand this place.
If a man really hated ads, here's what he would do. Day one, he would install Pi on his computer without spending.
This is Richard Mc Croskey, and what you just saw was his chilling confession, recorded moments after he brutally ended the lives of 4 innocent people. When he spoke about the smell he could no longer take in, it was the smell of the dead bodies that were left to rot while he stood right between them to record his twisted apology on tape. The neighbors had started to notice the unbearable stench that was creeping from the house down the street. What they brushed off as the smell of a dead animal was far more horrifying in reality. Inside that house, a man, after brutally murdering the residents, had been living for days with their decomposing bodies. When Richard finally fled the crime scene, what he left behind was a blood-soaked horror that the police officers wouldn't have even imagined in their darkest nightmares. Born on December 26, 1988 in California, the 20-year-old Richard Samuel Mc Croskey had a troubled teenage due to bullying and family issues. With time, his fascination for dark music slowly turned into an obsession. Horrorcore, a music genre that revolves around explicit lyrics and dark themes like violence, murder, psychological horror, gangster, urban violence, and true crime, was feeding the darkness that was growing within Richard. His parents' separation in the summer of 2009 and his mother moving out took a toll on Richard. His teenage years weren't any better. He attended 2 high schools, but eventually dropped out of both. He was bullied for being different. His weight, red hair, and outcast status made him a frequent target. By 2008, Richard was working as a part-time graphic designer and experimenting with making horrorcore rap music. One of the disturbing lyrics that he shared on MySpace, using the name Psycho Sam, was, "You're not the first, just to let you know. I've killed many people and I kill them real slow. It's the best feeling, watching their last breath, stabbing and stabbing till there's nothing left." It wasn't long before Psycho Sam put these disturbing fantasies into action, murdering the exact way he described it in his song lyrics. The interests and hobbies that Richard indulged in were shockingly disturbing and extremely explicit. Under the shield of his alter egos, Lil Demon Dog and Psycho Sam, Richard would post underground horrors and talk about killing people with extremely gore and explicit details. The posters and horrorcore art he had in his room showed his obsession with the 1970s infamous serial killer, David Richard Berkowitz. aka Son of Sam, who claimed a demon controlled his actions. While becoming a horrorcore rapper, Richard would spend endless hours alone in his room, absorbed in violent video games while blasting heavy metal and horrorcore music in the background. His chilling lyrics voiced the sinister thoughts in his head, urging him to kill over and over and to go on a brutal murder spree. Richard would even boast about vandalizing graves in his YouTube videos.
We defiled the grave, and then lightning struck seconds ago. I think we're being warned. And now it's starting to rain. It's 'cause we fucked up the grave. It's not my fault. Now it's starting to rain really hard. So peace, niggas.
He would often take pictures at cemeteries and pose with axes close to his face. While enjoying his celebrity status in the horrorcore online community, which gave him a platform to validate his inner demonic voices, Richard Mc Croskey crossed paths with 16-year-old Emma Niederbrock, another online member who shared his disturbing taste in music. Using the name Ragdoll as her alter ego, Emma grew disturbingly close to Richard. Soon, they were exchanging video messages, feeding off each other's dark interests.
All right, so you wanted a video, and you made me videos, so, and he said please, so I'll make you this video, even though I'm not gonna like do anything, because my room's kind of dirty, and yeah, I don't want to show you my dirty room. But this video is for Emma, because you just told me to say your name, so I don't know. I'll make you another video once clean, promise.
The shyness in his behavior and trembling voice are all signs of Richard being nervous and conscious about Emma judging him. As promised, he cleaned his room and made another video for her.
Alright, this video is for you, Emma. The ragdoll. Amazing ragdoll. And I really don't know what to do for you on video. So I guess I'll like show you my room a little bit, if that's what you want to see. First off, we got my door. Then we got my addiction for energy drinks. And then we got my small underground CD collection going on right here. And then we got my wall of awesomeness that I call it. Lots of posters and flyers and a hatchet wrench on them and random stuff. A hatchet. Oh no, the battery's dying.
What started as a harmless internet friendship quickly spiraled into something terribly horrific as their shared fantasies were soon turned into reality. Born on October 15, 1992, Emma Niederbrock lived with her parents, Mark Niederbrock and Deborah Kelly, in Farmville, Virginia. Her father was a pastor at Walker's Presbyterian Church, while her mother was a sociology and criminal justice professor at Longwood University. Homeschooled since middle school, Emma lived with her mother after her parents divorced in early 2009. Emma went through a similar rebel teen phase as Richard's. A girl who was described as a sweet, well-mannered child had changed her personality and appearance entirely. Her pink hair, gothic-style clothing, and fascination with the violent, explicit world of horrorcore hinted at a shift that would soon take a much darker turn. What her parents believed to be a passing phase, dark, heavy makeup and satanic aesthetics, was far from temporary. Emma had become deeply influenced by occult and dark themes. It was something very unsettling. By September 2009, Richard had mistaken the daily conversations as something more than just a friendship. He saw Emma as his girlfriend, even before they had met in person. She used to text him flirty messages, but no one knew how much she truly felt for him, especially considering what was about to happen. Emma's best friend, Melanie Wells, an 18-year-old from West Virginia, shared her passion for horrorcore. Both were rebellious teenagers who found peace in their unusual hobbies, photography and styling themselves in gothic looks. Melanie, who went by the online persona Mrs. Free Abortions, used to post photos of herself in cemeteries and openly listed her unsettling interests in blood, lust, alcohol, and open graves. The two girls had attended several horrorcore festivals, enjoying the thrill of the dark and satanic world. When they learned about Strictly for the Wicked, an all-day horrorcore festival scheduled for September 12, 2009, they were quick to make plans. But this time was about to be different, as Richard McCroskey would be there too. After months of online conversations, the festival was set to be the moment they would meet in person.
Check this out. I'm going to show you how I afforded this car. Okay, you ready? All right, 100.
But Emma's parents were understandably concerned about their teenage daughter meeting up with an older man she had never met face to face. Despite their reservations and the strain of their recent divorce, Mark and Deborah decided to drive Emma, her best friend Melanie Wells, and Richard to Southgate, Michigan for the festival. They had planned to spend their day out in the city while the girls and Richard attended the event. At this point, Mark and Deborah were unaware that Richard's infatuation with Emma would cross into dangerous territory. On September 6th, Richard McCroskey departed California to reach Virginia for the long-awaited meeting with his online girlfriend. Emma Niederbrock could hardly wait to meet him. On September 7th, she posted an affectionate message on his MySpace that read, "Next time you check your MySpace, you'll be at my house. I love you so, so much, baby, forever and for always." Richard was coming to live at her house in Farmville because that was the only way Emma's parents had given her permission for the music festival. It's unclear if Richard arrived on September 7th or 8th, but it was several days before the concert. The festival doors were to open at 1 p.m. on September 12th. It was an odd move by Emma's parents to let a stranger live in their house for days, whose only real connection to their daughter was through shared interests in a dark subculture.
What? Man, how y'all let a random little boy move in y'all house, man? Might have been the biggest mistake y'all ever did, to be honest.
With Melanie arriving at her house on the same dates, the trio was set to go on a 10-hour-long drive to the music festival with Emma's parents. The reality of their first meeting was anything but what Emma had imagined. As Emma laid eyes on Richard, the image she had built up from his MySpace photos was shattered. In person, Richard looked much shorter and younger than his age. For Emma, his oversized black hoodie, baggy cargo pants, and greasy red hair across his forehead only added to his unappealing appearance. Her initial charm for Richard had disappeared, and both the girls soon seemed annoyed and disinterested by Richard's presence. Richard, who noticed Emma's changed behavior, believed that the festival's horrorcore vibe would remind Emma of the bond they shared online, but Richard's hopes soon came crashing down when Emma paid him little to no attention at the festival and was more interested in enjoying the concert with other people. Richard's frustration and jealousy began to take over his nerves when he noticed Emma's flirty behavior with other guys. The music festival wrapped up at 11 p.m. on September 12, 2009. When driving back 600 miles to Farmville, the passengers of the car had no idea that this trip would set off a series of terrifying events. Melanie's disappearance after coming back from the concert marked the beginning of this disturbing case. She was last seen online on September 14th at 2:43 a.m. when she posted on her MySpace about the concert. "SFTW was f***ing amazing. Back in Virginia now. Be back in West Virginia on Wednesday. I miss everyone." It was highly unusual that neither her friends nor her family received any word from her after this post. This had raised alarm bells for her family, who were constantly trying to reach her. Then, on September 16th, the day Melanie was supposed to return home, her father, Thomas Wells, arrived at Emma's house, but no one answered the door. He decided to wait outside. After waiting for over 7 hours in his car, he left with a feeling that something was terribly wrong. Melanie's mother had gone frantic. She called everyone who might have seen Melanie, but all her calls went unanswered. The mother then reached out to the organizer of the festival, Andres Schrim, also known as Satanic in the horrorcore community. Back in 2009, the horrorcore rappers and fans were a close-knit community where almost everyone knew each other. Andres confirmed to Melanie's mother that he saw Melanie, Emma, and Richard at the festival and that they left with Emma's parents. Extremely worried by her daughter's disappearance, Melanie's mother again called Emma's residence. This time, Richard answered the phone and gave vague answers about Melanie's whereabouts. After this strange incident, Melanie's mother, Kathleen, knew in her heart that something wasn't right. She was sure that Richard was lying and hiding something. Kathleen's concern had reached a breaking point on the morning of September 17th. With no signs of Melanie, she decided to contact the Farmville police to do a welfare check on Emma's house. Richard met the police at Emma's home and told the officers that Emma and Melanie were out at the movies with Emma's mother. Claiming to be Emma's boyfriend, Richard Mc Croskey dealt with the officers so confidently that they had no immediate cause for suspicion. The officers accepted his word and didn't ask to inspect the inside of the house, despite the urgency of the situation. Later, Kathleen decided to call Emma's father, who assured her to check on Melanie and get back to her. What Kathleen didn't know was that 5 p.m. on September 17th was going to be the last time she would hear from him. Mark's silence was deafening. No call came through, and the growing dread made it clear that something was terribly wrong. Desperate for answers, Kathleen Wells phoned the police again on the morning of September 18th. This time, she had convinced the officers to revisit Emma and Deborah's house.
Yes, I don't know who I need to talk to, or my daughter is with a family in Farmville, Virginia, and she's been basically missing for the past 2.5 days. I can't get a hold of her. Her cell phone's turned off. What's worse is the girl that she was staying with, nobody knows where she is. Her cell phone is turned off. His daughter's boyfriend is staying there, and I've talked to him several times today, and I've gotten different stories from him. But my husband went down. He was supposed to pick up my daughter yesterday, and he went down there, and he arrived at about 11 o'clock in the morning. He sat there for 8 hours outside the house. Nobody showed up. Nobody answered the door. I mean, we're about 4 hours away here, and I don't know what else to do.
At 3:20 p.m., the police officers found the front door of the house unlocked, and Richard, who had been there the previous day, was nowhere to be seen. But what made them realize the gravity of the situation was the nauseating smell of rotting dead bodies that welcomed them at the main door. It was quite strange that the officers had missed this unmistakable smell during their earlier visit. Inside the house, the police were met with a chilling and horrific discovery. In what appeared to be Emma's bedroom downstairs, they were confronted with the spine-chilling sight of 3 lifeless bodies rotting in their pool of blood. This gruesome sight was enough to obtain a search warrant. While searching the house for evidence, the police officers then found another body in a room upstairs, which was later identified to be Emma's mother, Deborah Kelly's body. The dead bodies downstairs were eventually confirmed as Mark Niederbrock, Emma Niederbrock, and Melanie Wells. The brutality of the murders and the chilling evidence had left the investigators haunted. Without revealing the
Damn, Status Family, he killed all the ass, man. See, man, y'all better stop fucking with them weird people, man. I'm telling you, man. Hey, keep your kids far away from satanic, demonic people as far away as possible. Make sure they stay in school. Make sure they find somebody who's a good person of God. Oh my God, he killed everybody. Oh my God. Played with the man's heart, man. You should have asked for pictures or something. Like, you wait till you get all the way down there, and then you know he's satanic, and then you still let him stay in your parents' house, man. Your parents allowed him to stay in the house? Man, y'all crazy.
Details, the police confirmed severe blunt force trauma as the cause of death. All the police had to do was sift through evidence and check Emma and Melanie's social media accounts to connect the dots. The 5th person, who had been to the festival with the victims and returned to Farmville with them, was missing. One officer remembered speaking to Richard during the welfare check at Emma's home. The realization hit the officers hard, and a manhunt for Richard McCroskey was launched. The police had another strange encounter with Richard 12 hours before the discovery of the bodies. At around 4 a.m. on September 18th, Richard McCroskey was issued a ticket for driving a car without a license that he had stuck in a ditch. When asked about the car, he casually mentioned it belonged to his girlfriend's dad. At that moment, no one could have imagined that the 20-year-old had fled after murdering 4 people with a hammer and maul. As per a tow truck driver who offered him a ride, Richard stunk like the devil. The motive behind the brutal murders was Richard's rage toward Emma for rejecting his love. The other 3 victims happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. Fueled by alcohol and marijuana, Richard grabbed a ball-peen hammer and first attacked Melanie, who was asleep on the couch. Next, he went upstairs and killed Emma's mother before ending Emma's life in her downstairs bedroom. All 3 women were murdered in their sleep on September 15th. Then, on September 17th, when Emma's father paid a visit to his ex-wife's house to check on Melanie, Richard spared no time to beat him to death with a wood-splitting maul. Richard, who had been living with the dead bodies for the past few days, then dragged Mark's and Melanie's bodies into Emma's bedroom. It was then that he had recorded himself contemplating suicide before stealing Mark's car and trying to flee back to California.
Which is gonna be over there. You can see that. I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna do because I'm sure you guys know what I'm gonna do. I'm really sorry, but it came to this. But I'm gonna get going and do what I gotta do. I'm gonna pay my consequences. So my last words before I go. It's the world.
Richard was caught on September 19th from the baggage claim area at the Richmond International Airport, charged with robbery.
Hold on. So he making a goodbye goddamn video and saying this world, but you ain't even get away. Come on, man. You didn't even take yourself out. You ain't take yourself out of there, man. Come on, man. All this satanic shit and you scared to take yourself out.
Grand theft, and 6 counts of first-degree murder. He pleaded guilty to the murders and was sentenced to life in prison.
Police arrested Richard Samuel Mc Croskey III after they found him sleeping in Richmond's airport.
Hey, Savage Family, that was a crazy one, man. Hey, you got to stop playing with people, man. You can't just... First of all, why did you even call him your boyfriend and telling him you love him and all this and that? You didn't even meet him yet. Like, you just caused yourself and everybody to get murdered because you seen him in person, you didn't like him, and he just snapped and he took all y'all out. He made a video saying he was going to kill himself or he got to pay the consequences. Tried to flee, went to sleep at the airport and got caught. So, hey, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, man. Share these videos. All right, Savage Family. And we out. Yes, sir.